This one's good because I made it kind of like ugly, but like ugly is like it's different from like all the other previous papers, right? Uh, put like bubbles. You know how you can like do like webs and bubbles and all that. Um, Originally, when I started this one, I wanted to make the main focus on Squid Games season two. Okay, so Squid Games season two, which is like I think that's delayed till like 2024, and sometimes that means they might be working on a different project. People have been talking about like a new season of Black Mirror. You know, it's just like that's with their Netflix kind of thing. And but the reason we circled Squid Game season two is that it has like a psychosis of kind of making this understandable, making it like understood, but there's the to make it legit to readable, but like so like is a like I added the like which is like it's going back to the door because we were talking about like the door. Like now we're going to talk about some of the enemy types that are in the spirit temple. Uh, but like stuff that you like in general. Because there's a lot of things you like, you love, you like. Um, right below this Majoragarian thing, like right below it, these are games like you would think about. These are games that you would think about. You don't hate this game, but you also enjoy this game. It's kind of like a game like you enjoy this game. You would play this game, but you don't hate it. And then like at the top above Majora Guardian Zelda 2 thing is games that you would not enjoy. Games you just cannot enjoy. Like these games are made for like bad Christmas gifts or something. Like just like if you were to have people play these games, specifically these games, it would be and I'm trying not to make this. I'm trying to dumb this down just to make this so you're just not confused of it, because sometimes these titles, even if they are in a top tier bracket, the top tier is on the left. Okay, so on the left is all the top tier games, but sometimes all three of these can move, right? So we got another three going on, of course. We always got another three going on, but they can all move. They can move from being a top tier game. The top tier game can go into the column of thinking again, where you're thinking about this game, if you like or not like it. And then it can even, yes, it can even take itself, a top tier game can take itself and become a horrible game. But why are we talking about this one? This one's like you're a lost kind of thing. This is like you're lost. But it's also kind of like it's kind of a way to know if you're thinking clearly or if you're not thinking clearly. And it's funny how you can call an enemy anytime in a video game. You can call an enemy anything you want. So you would call it a like, you know. And we got like Facebook liking. We got all kinds of forms of different liking. You know, CNN talking about like is one of those smart words that's just kind of like it's a stupid word, but it's not stupid. It's kind of like a simple word. But that simple word can be put into so many things. Blah 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 blah. You know, the thing right here. Where is it? Okay, so I like to use like this as a first example. When I think about like a game that's just like horrible, or like a game like don't have me play that game, I'd think like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is just like another thing too. Is you can, it's kind of like a funny. It's like a comedian, it's like a comedian thing. So like at a video game store, not only do you want people just paying attention to video games, you kind of want like a comedy thing. So you'd put like a copy of JoJo's Adventures. Trying to be nice to Dora the Explorer, but like Dora the Explorer is prefer it as a TV show as opposed to a video game. You kind of have like the same atmosphere with JoJo and Dora. I think Dora was before, so Dora in the marketing, like when you're marketing something, or like advertising a console to a game, or like Dora was the first step of that, and then they're just kind of like with JoJo. I could go deeper into this one with more titles, but like JoJo is a specific one. Now JoJo also can switch itself from being a crappy game and can move to the other tiers, so it can move to the other stuff. But it can only move to the other stuff. It won't like it'll move and it'll go back to just being crap. But it will move like kind of like a temporary. It'll be temporarily over there. JoJo is also kind of like a funny party thing, kind of like a funny, play a video game, have a party, have a video game that nobody wants to play, but have them play. That's kind of like the atmosphere of the JoJo thing, and like. I like the confusing parts too, because you're not seeing the confusing parts yet. But so take Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is nothing but like a market game. If you were using your brain, you'd be playing like Saints Row 2. You'd be playing Watch Dogs. You'd be playing Splinter Cell. You'd be. And I didn't even put Splinter Cell on this list, but that's like the gist of it. Like that's why Grand Theft Auto 5 is like kind of like trick. It's like a trickery thing, because Grand Theft Auto 3, even Grand Theft Auto 4, you would rather play than Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 has had it's had YouTubers who just play Grand Theft Auto 5. But Grand Theft Auto 5 also wants to have kind of that thing like Quest 64. So, I mean, that was kind of Grand Theft Auto. But Grand Theft Auto 5, it just didn't work well because at the point of the year that they're making a game, it's supposed to be a little bit better. To go from Grand Theft Auto 4, which was really good, to go to Grand Theft Auto 5, it just kind of didn't make any sense. It's kind of like, but that's like the things they do. And, I mean, they gave you access to Grand Theft Auto 5 on Game Pass. Game Pass will give you good games, but they'll also give you games like, Kingdom Hearts. Okay, so the whole point behind the Kingdom Hearts thing is we're going to make one good Kingdom Hearts game. We also have cloud version, which we have this cloud version stuff. But that's like them trying to, get the streaming games up, to get the streaming game services up. Like, okay, so Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 specifically are just they're the horrible ones, and then you got Kingdom Hearts 1 being good. Now, Kingdom Hearts 1 was able to establish itself. We're not talking about Kingdom Hearts DS, that's going too deep, but like Kingdom Hearts 1 is basically it's by it's Square Enix. Okay, so Square Enix is funny because whatever game they want to be good, they'll even cancel Deus Ex if they want. As they'll cancel Deus Ex, or they'll make Deus Ex, that kind of thing. They'll but Kingdom Hearts 1, they will basically they made Kingdom Hearts 1, and then they made a funny, I didn't even put this on the list either, they made a horrible Final Fantasy game. It's a horrible one, and the 3 chain is so annoying, because what's so annoying about it, because it's supposed to scare you, it's kind of like this horrible Wii Final Fantasy game, because it's horrible compared to like the GameCube Final Fantasy game, because the GameCube Final Fantasy game is awesome, but like this horrible Final Fantasy game is so horrible that it can be kind of enjoyable, and then it can take itself to the second tier, not top tier, but it can take itself all the way to the second tier. So that's what I'm saying. They're always kind of going like in a circle. Okay, so the Final Fantasy Wii would be like in the horrible column, but it would still be able to find a way to put itself down to where you're thinking about it, And then This is just like, think about, we're not even like talking about video game stuff right now. Right now we're talking about thoughts, kind of like thoughts of products you buy in that. So they put out Red Dead Redemption. That was another funny one. Red Dead Redemption joins the horrible list. We have to start with all the horrible lists because then it kind of, we kind of see it a little clear. Um, Cannot review Red Dead Redemption 2 yet. That's a long game, but I haven't reviewed that yet, so I didn't put that. So I put just specifically one. We're just going with the first Red Dead Redemption. So it's made, the reason it was made at that time was because there's Western. As you know, they have a TV show called Westworld, and there's always like a need to try and get back to the good Western stuff, right? Like get to the good Western shows. I like HBO's one. I can't remember that one's name right now, but it's a Western that I think that's been like the best Western thing I've seen as of late, because it was doing different stuff. Westworld season 1 was good, but then see, I didn't even add Westworld in here because of Squid Game, right? So because we're on this Squid Game season 2 thing, but Westworld's other seasons were just poorly done. They were poorly done, so you kind of get the gist of how funny it's funny and scary at the same time because it's funny. It's really funny. First 2 seasons, I couldn't even rank Game of Thrones seasons. Like Game of Thrones is probably doing the exact same thing that Westworld's doing, and it's kind of funny. That's just a new age kind of thing. So there's okay, so basically they're gonna put out Red Dead Redemption around when Super Mario Galaxy comes out, because at that time it's kind of like 3D Mario is always a juggernaut. It's just always like a juggernaut. Companies get kind of bad at it because it's like I'm not even like the biggest fan of Mario Sunshine, but like see, and that's what it is. As soon as like a 3D Mario comes out, for all the other video game companies, they get really annoyed by that because it's gonna get good reviews, it's gonna be a good game, it's gonna be even like it's just gonna have that. It's gonna have that like it's going to be right there, and then it's going to challenge them to just shoot out a game, challenge them to shoot out a game because they're still trying to sell the system. Okay. Genshin Impact's the funny one too, because oh my gosh, that one's really hilarious because Genshin Impact is like it's a new age game. It's a new age game, so I mean, it's a bold way to try and make a new age game is what they're trying to do with it. But Immortals just beats it because Immortals is different. And basically, Genshin Impact is another one. It can go down below. It can go to both sides, so it can go to top tier and it can go to mid tier. It can just it can switch itself around. But Genshin Impact for the most part is just a horrible game. It's also kind of like a lazy game because they're trying to take on Xenoblade. I don't even know why they'd want to try and take on Xenoblade, because like Xenoblade, like it's been like it had a delay for a long time. First it was like Xenosaga, it got canceled, and then it just came back. So and that's another market thing of just like a game coming back or whatever. And Last of Us 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Okay, so Last of Us, both of them, and then they tried to remaster the game. You know what I'm saying? That's another new age technique. That's very trolly, very new age. So, but Last of Us to me will always stay in the horrible video game category. It could probably go down to the mid down, maybe, but it will always stay in the horrible. It will just be a horrible game. It's always a horrible game. The controls it's kind of like somebody who's just trying to make video games too. But you need to actually play it to understand. It's like the game feels like a what's it called? Those escape rooms. So you'd rather go do an escape room, than play a video game. You'd rather just go to the escape room, which I think that's the whole thing behind it too. And the story's funny too, because there is bad movies and there's like bad TV shows, and I guess I think that's what Last of Us likes to do, is it likes to have like that bad TV show or bad movie kind of thing, and they want to put it into a video game. So that's where it can kind of put itself down to the mid tier. And then you get the strange, this is the strange horrible one. This is the strange, but this is like the significant one. I think this one describes all these because it's so significant. It's like WWE SmackDown versus Raw. I forget what year. I don't think it's 2010. I don't think it's 2011. It might be 2009 or it's probably it's 2008. It's like on the Wii, and the PS2 version is better. The PS2 version is better than the Wii version, and that's and this is another one that can switch itself, because even though it's horrible, it's also it doesn't have everything cut out, but many of the content in it is cut out, and I think it is it could be mid tier. But I mean, breaking that down is kind of it's not like a waste of time, but it's kind of it's kind of like maybe you should think of something else, you should think of something else and then go back to it. Then we have Monster Hunter Worlds and Monster Hunter Worlds. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe it stays in the horrible category. It just does. Monster Hunter Worlds was kind of, but to be fair, it was a reach for other platforms because they missed Monster Hunter. PlayStation misses Monster Hunter, of course. Xbox misses Monster Hunter, so that was kind of like their thing. And but really, we just wanted Frontier G, and Frontier G is always going to stay in top tier, and that's why Worlds is so confusing, because Frontier G will always be top tier. Frontier G was going to be a multi-platform. It was going to be, so I never got really what it was, because Frontier G was going to be on everything, even the PSP Vita. It was going to be on so many things. So Frontier G is a top tier hilarious because you can only play it in Japan. And I would assume the only way that you could play it now is I'm pretty sure it's just a Japanese exclusive. So get ready to buy online cards for, Japanese wise for that if you really want to play that one. And it's worth it. It's actually worth it. But I think it's just because they want to sell Japanese online cards to Americans. So that's the whole thing behind the Frontier G. Then we get, so the juicy part is almost there. We're almost there. But we have to get some honorable mentions in here, kind of like Minecraft. Then there's Minecraft Dungeons, and what's the other Minecraft? Minecraft Legends. Minecraft Legends. It's funny to see which one of those would go below. Would it be out of those two Minecrafts, which one would go below, Legends or Dungeons? I think Dungeons stays in a tier, and then Legends, but Legends is just so comparable to Dungeons that it's able to stay in a tier also. It's not able to stay in the top tier, it's able to stay right there in the mid tier. And that's another example. They're showing you how they shouldn't be staying there, but they're staying there. They're still staying there, right? Where is this? Where is this one? This one's so because we already know regular Minecraft will always be top tier. I think they're just saving money because they always just make regular Minecraft top tier. So original Minecraft will always be amazing, and it just because they want to save money and sell the content that's on there. Um, they might eventually make a sequel to it, but who knows? That's gonna be a long time probably or whatever. Um, uh, you have silent. Oh my gosh, this is a funny one. Shattered Memories, Silent Hill. Well, people just love the original Silent Hills, like the PlayStation ones and that. But like Shattered Memories. Okay, so now we're getting into this. Okay, because sometimes it's really hard when you're top tier ranking, when you're trying to rank a game, or what is going on with the rankings of games. Okay, so like Shattered Memories, it's a very good one. I put it in top tier, and it will never move away from top tier. Shattered Memories makes it. It's very like funny how angry it makes the community because they want to stay to the past because the past is you had Silent Hill two and three. So 2 and 3, they really enjoy 2 and 3 because of the secrets you can find in 2 and 3. But Shattered Memory sticks its head in, like Shattered Memory sticks its head in. So it's like a very good new age game. So if you were like looking for very good new age games, it would definitely be Shattered Memories. But that's like, and they've made a Silent Hill movie, and like there's a whole thing behind that. There's just a whole huge thing behind that. Not gonna deep dive into it until other stuff, but okay. So now watch this. Watch this one. This one's so controversial. So Sonic Lost World could easily be in mid tier. It could even fall down to low tier. It could fall down to the horrible games. It could, but Sonic Lost World has enough power to stay in top tier, and it's just because it has the characters. It's kind of like a story based game, and I think the hard example that it shows is it shows that yes, you can make a story based video game. It's very possible to make a story based video game. Sonic Colors, no argument. You can just let it stay in top tier. Sonic Colors, boom, it's there. Let it stay. Sonic CD, no argument. You can let it stay. I probably right now too want to get to like the emotional part too of this too. The emotional part of this is like because out of all the cringe and the hard stuff and the stuff not understanding, the emotional kind of connects it all together with like okay, so what can make a gamer actually emotional is like when they canceled the sequel to Quest 64. That's kind of an example because or like if they've like Star Fox, right, like Star Fox, like the 64 version is good enough. So it's good enough. The Star Fox 64 version is good enough. It's good enough just to keep the stuff going, but like Star Fox, the thing that makes any gamer emotional is they will always want to play Star Fox Super Nintendo. Doesn't matter what year you're on this planet, you will always want to play Star Fox Super Nintendo, even if you're not a Nintendo fan, even if you're. It's just like a general. It's like almost like the gaming. It's the treasure of gaming. So like Star Fox 1, and Star Fox, even Star Fox 2, which is I find Star Fox 2 hilarious. I have not really gotten a feel for Star Fox 2, and that's kind of why I don't really pay attention way too much into Tears of Kingdom, because the first two Star Foxes right now that they have, right, it's trying to figure out what they're actually saying with Star Fox 2, and that's probably got to be a couple of playthroughs. And you would even have like Star Fox Commanders DS be able to go to mid tier, but it stays in top tier. But somehow Star Fox Commanders can just like transfer back and forth between those. And now they're making all that stuff hard. They're making that all hard because Sims 2 stays like in mid tier, but Sims 2 is like a PC game that can go to top tier, but like Sims 2 just like stays in mid tier and it keeps staying in mid tier. And but Sims 2 opens up the stuff of where you talk about movies and TV shows. It's funny how with this video I would want to put the emphasis on Squid Game season 2, but like it's like through Sims is kind of showing it a little bit, but there's just too much hype with this Squid Game season 2. They're hoping it follows up with what season 1 of Squid Games was. So that's like a big project for Netflix. Like Netflix needs to keep its big project. If you notice, I even crammed. I didn't cram this in, but there is a Stranger Things video game, and that would be in the horrible games also. So we didn't cram that in either. But now with the last minutes, we're gonna be mysterious. We're gonna be mysterious on these last minutes of this. Okay, so here's Majora, right? Here's Garium, right? And here's Zelda 2, okay? And this is where we're gonna be like showing. Now we're talking about this secret thing, and this is a really hard one. This one's really hard, but I'm gonna see what I can do with this. So they made a new cutscene for like the cutscenes in Tears of Kingdom, and they had Ganondorf, and they had that whole cutscene hilarious. They almost HBO'd. They almost had an HBO vibe to it too. It was crazy because they had like an illusion of Princess Zelda. They had like a betrayal. They had the Princess Zelda letting her down. And then they had him all angry, opening his mouth. I always forget he's a new character. Really hard to remember his name. This new Zelda character. But like they had him angry at Ganondorf. Ganondorf getting him off guard. But that's not even Ganondorf. So like. But we don't really do the Tears of Kingdom because it's so dang confusing, okay? But the reason we're talking about this is now what it's supposed to be. So apparently Ganondorf has different parts to him. Like when you're fighting Ganondorf in Tears of Kingdom, he has different parts to him, okay? But who also has different parts to them? Majora has different parts. Majora definitely has different parts. Garium has different parts, and that's like no mistake. That's advanced mystery. That's just like advanced mystery of having all three of the characters have different phases to them. Okay, and now the Zelda 2 thing, the Zelda 2 thing that's down here is I do think it was like kind of like a beta or like a beta project of going into these phases. That's why specifically on your Switch too, you can buy Skyward Sword because Skyward Sword is very important. Because Garium, it's also it's another troll. It's another troll. It's another troll. It's a funny troll. It's yes, Zelda is using a lot of new age stuff. Okay. And Zelda has been like, it's insane. It's insane because like Garium's basically like Garium gives you the vibe of old fashioned. Majora gives you the vibe of old fashioned. They both give you the vibe of that, but they're part of Majora would be like more old fashioned, but Garium's kind of like an updated. And Garium Oh my gosh, Garium just makes Skyward Sword just an amazing game. It just makes Skyward Sword a very good game because the three battles that you're doing against, and then how he transforms into Demise's sword. There's so much in Skyward Sword, way too much in that game. So yeah, that's basically the that's all this stuff relating to this, and relating to any of what this is, and I mean, I never forgot the Battle of Majora's Mask, the final battle. Never forgot that. Never forgot Garium. You just really enjoy Majora, and Anuma even talks about Majora's Mask. And of course you can still get your Majora's Mask paraglider. And but Majora is a good one too, and like Majora's like. Oh my gosh! Like if you've paid attention to any of my stuff, once again, if you've paid attention to any of my stuff, this is making it a lot easier. Really, really, really easy. I'd probably say Majora. Majora is definitely going to make it easier than Garium. Garium is a different thing because Garium's like a. Garium is gosh dang it. Garium I feel is like something different, but Majora is Majora is just flat out showing you the part of the Shadow of Colossus secret. Majora's really cool. So it's all, you're always meant to feel clueless too. You know what I'm saying? You're meant to feel clueless. You're not supposed to feel like and that's why like you keep going back to these old games, because the old game, the new game is like Garium's from Skyward Sword, new game, right? So Garium's kind of like, it's a jokester. He's that little joker. Garium is definitely a joker. He is a joker of talking about how Majora's Mask, and many people paid way too much attention to Ocarina of Time, which is not a bad thing, but they didn't pay attention to Majora's Mask as much as you would think. So, some people did, and some people didn't. But the Majora's Mask thing is, oh my gosh, it's pretty crazy too, because how different it is. Because Majora's a female, and Garium is a male. And okay, so the sequel stuff too, you always have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask having like that thing, because they're still running on the same engine, right? And they're a very confusing thing. Like is an enemy type that is making a lot of things easy too, by the way. It makes a lot of things easy to understand. But there's probably a better way I can use like as a demonstration. But like, just right off the bat, we have to get into like because like is confusing. It's confusing to not just like. It makes it easy, but if we talk about the other enemy types, it wouldn't make sense. But if we talk about like, it will be it will get to the point it needs to. Zelda 2 is like a crazy one because I mean, you'd ask any nerd, they love the first Zelda, and when it comes to Zelda 2, to think that Zelda 2 and Zelda PC. To think that both those ones would be so scary to make you pay attention to them also. PC, I consider there's only certain parts you'd pay attention into the PC, but Zelda 2, yes, there's a lot of parts to pay attention into Zelda 2, of course. So the Shadow of Colossus secret is using so many things through like it's been using a lot of stuff It's kind of like it's molded its own thing, you know. So this Secret and Shadow of Colossus has molded its own thing out of just many previous things, and it has to be an idea all on its own, you know. So Shadow of Colossus has an idea all on its own through because mainly I guess the inspiration for the Secret in this Shadow of Colossus game was kind of there. The inspiration was also, hey, we can do something different. Okay, so we can do something different. We're just gonna we want to have the same feel as these games are projecting, because Majora's Mask was projecting a lot of stuff. Gariam definitely projecting a lot of stuff, you know. I see like so much brain power, dude. Like I'm kind of like Pokemon, and you know, I don't know, just a lot of things generating. Mario 64 generating a bunch of stuff, and there was so much content that was generated. And like I told you, Quest 64 being canceled was a heartbreaker. That was a huge heartbreaker. It's kind of overshadowed by Star Fox, because Star Fox's Super Nintendo was just too good. But Quest 64, if you were to ask me, yes, Quest 64, and even Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest is by far, Mystic Quest is another one that's like, wow, because they put Final Fantasy 3 out, but like they put this Mystic Quest game, and they showed how different you could develop a game. So there was that, you know. The DLC, I want to wrap it up too. Also, for this video, wrap it up with the DLC. I have to work on the DLC, of course, because there's a lot of different video games with different DLCs. So I have to work on that. There's even like a third-party game that's using DLC. But for the most part, what I do remember too is the Shin Megami Tensei. It was expensive, but it was really good DLC. The Shin Megami Tensei's DLC was all good, and it was, but it was a little bit pricey. But it was probably like, it was just a well organized thing. A well-made product, and because it kind of followed up to what Soul Hackers is just a top tier game, and then you have Soul Hackers 2 being like mid tier, you know. And from what I've learned from Soul Hackers 2 is a good game, but it's just not like amazing as Soul Hackers 1. And I even like to throw in tidbits like this too, like what they keep talking about: Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout 3, Morrowind. Okay, so they keep talking about those, but nobody's really talking about the PC games of Elder Scrolls. And the PC games, man, the PC Elder Scrolls, I'd much rather talk about those, because out of all those, I'd probably want to talk about, you know, Oblivion, okay? Like out of all those topics ones, right? I don't get I think Saints Row 2 is a perfect one to end on too. Just the randomness of Saints Row 2, because that game is very random, you know, that one right there. Saints Row 2 even likes to make Grand Theft Auto 3, and Grand Theft Auto 3 is probably like, probably it just is. Grand Theft Auto 3 is the best Grand Theft Auto. And Saints Row 2, for some reason, just likes to compete with it and say, nope, that's nothing. Saints Row 2 is the best. And Saints Row beats Grand Theft Auto. And Saints Row was kind of like, see, that's what I mean. You cannot focus on first-party titles, okay? So you can't just be like, oh, this is a first-party title, okay? And you can't be like, okay, this first party title is always gonna win. No, sometimes the people that are making Saints Row, or they're making like Watch Dogs, or they're making something else, sometimes they have a good idea. And Saints Row 2, just excellent idea. They even paid attention to the rare Superman game that was put on the 64. And you know what's funny, because Superman 64 would be in the low tier, it would definitely be in the low tier. But guess what? It would also find its way to get into the mid tier. So, and a long time ago, I guess, that's crazy part too, because Superman is, of course, a comic book. Okay, so like, there you go with that. There's way too much to talk here. There's way too much to talk about. But like, I do have to wrap it up. I'm thinking if I saw something, I think I gotta end it on Gears of War because people are really interested in the Gears of War stuff. Gears of War 5. Okay, so I did put that in the horrible list and that's the funny part. Gears 5 is horrible, but it is scary. It's scary, but it's horrible. Gears 5 is a very unplayable game. Gears 4 is more playable. That's why I put that in a tier where you'd be happy enough. You'd be playing Gears 4, you'd be happy. But in Gears 5, you have to play and it's scary, but the gameplay, it's an example of gameplay being horrible. Like, a gameplay can be so horrible, it can take a game that's good, has good bases around it, but then it could take, just because that gameplay is so terrible, it could take it all the way to the bottom. And Gears been swimming through, Gears just been swimming through a bunch of secrets. It's just been having a lot of secrets. Gears has been having a lot of secrets because it's gear. The gameplay sucks. The map, the create your map or whatever online feature that they had for it, it's not bad for replayability, but like, you don't really want to play the game because the game's modes don't make sense. The gameplay doesn't make sense. The maps are like rushed. I really do. I really do. If I'm playing Gears 5, I'll get a headache. I think there's like maybe in Gears 5, the only part that's like enjoyable would be like when you get to like a puzzle, and that doesn't sound right for a Gears of War game, just to get to like this puzzle area, because after all that you've done, you're not enjoying it at all, and that's why it gets to the horrible. It just gets right there at the horrible. Gears 4 right away does not. Gears 4's camera angle is good. Gears 5's camera angle, Gears 5's camera angle is like, wow. They may have been aiming to make something different, right? But so Gears 5 is also kind of like a prototype. That's a prototype game. I would say that's definitely a prototype game also. But yeah, see, I can jam a lot of conversations out of this. I even gone to Staying Gate. Staying Gate is hilarious. Oh my gosh, I was just like looking up this stuff, and I was like, man, Staying Gate is funny. That you probably want me to talk about how Eternal Darkness Shadow of Eternal got canceled. Nintendo licensed Eternal Darkness, and then they canceled Shadow of Eternal. So that's for later, but like that's definitely another cancel. Okay. I like the Shin Megami Tensei funny thing because like many of the Shin Megami Tenseis, out of all the Shin Megami Tenseis that can switch itself, it's Devil Survivor. Devil Survivor is the one where it goes to mid tier, but Shin Megami Tensei should be top tier. It should be top tier, but it finds a way to go to low tier. It just finds a way to do that. But Devil Survivor is a good one. It's good enough to be top tier, but it just finds its way to go back to mid tier. And people are so critical. They're just so critical because of Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. But Devil Survivor will be one of those games that we probably don't want to get canceled, but it's going to end up getting canceled. So, yep.